Picture this. You wake up, you have a list of things you want to accomplish, big goals, clear intentions, and then somehow by the end of the day, nothing has moved. Not because you were physically stopped, not because the world blocked you, but because something invisible inside you just froze. That feeling has a name, and more importantly, it has a solution. Stay with me because what I'm about to share might completely change how you see your own situation. Here's the uncomfortable truth that most people miss. Feeling stuck is not a personality flaw. It's not laziness. It's not a sign that you're broken or that success isn't meant for you. It's actually a signal, a very specific signal that something in your internal system is misaligned. And the moment you understand what's actually causing it, you can start moving again. So let's break this down properly. And before we dive in, show your support, leave a like and subscribe to see our upcoming series on how to deal with severe burnout, lack of energy, and how to effectively bring that energy back. Your support makes an incredible difference and helps this channel exist. There are four main culprits that trap people in that paralyzed state: perfectionism, low self-esteem, procrastination, and overwhelm. Now, on the surface, these look different, but here's what's fascinating. They all produce the same feelings inside you: heightened stress that doesn't go away, that constant background hum of tension that follows you from one task to the next, one day to the next. They create that gnawing sensation that you should be doing more, being more, achieving more. And when all four of those forces hit you at once, you don't just feel stuck, you become cemented in place. Years can slip by without real movement forward. Now, before we go deeper, I want to address something that society gets completely wrong. We live in a world that loves dramatic labels. Someone skips the gym for 2 weeks, and suddenly they have a discipline disorder. Someone feels nervous before a presentation, and they're convinced they have crippling anxiety. Someone can't figure out a solution to a particular problem, and they announce they're completely blocked and need a total life overhaul. But here's the reality. Most of what people experience isn't clinical. It isn't a disorder. It isn't some deep psychological catastrophe. Most of the time, you're just stuck on a paragraph, not the whole book, just the paragraph. Think about what happens when you blow something small into something enormous. If you're struggling with one chapter of your life and you call it a complete identity crisis, you've just made a manageable problem feel completely unsolvable. The language you use shapes how trapped you feel. So before anything else, stop globalizing. Stop taking specific, contained challenges and stretching them across your entire existence. Your problem is usually much smaller and much more solvable than the story you've been telling yourself about it. That said, let's talk about what actually drives you into that stuck state. Because there are two main categories here. The first is inadequacy. Perfectionism and low self-esteem tend to grow from this root. You have a standard, maybe one you set for yourself, or one that someone else set long ago, and deep down you believe you can't meet it. So instead of trying and possibly confirming that fear, you don't start. Or you start, hate what you produce, and abandon it. The second category is uncertainty. Procrastination and overwhelm feed on this. You don't know exactly what to do. You don't know if you have the right skills. You're not sure when to begin. And that fog of unknowing creates a kind of decision paralysis where staying still feels safer than moving in the wrong direction. Now, here's where it gets really important. One of the most damaging things that happens when people feel stuck for extended periods of time is something called self-loathing. And this is different from regular self-criticism. Regular self-criticism might sound like I didn't handle that well. Self-loathing sounds like I am fundamentally incapable. I am a failure. I am not enough. When normal human experiences like falling short of a goal or feeling overwhelmed start generating that kind of internal language, we're in dangerous territory. The meanest voice in your life should never be your own. And if it has been, if that internal dialogue has been vicious and relentless and enduring, that's not something to just power through with a motivational video. That's something to address with proper professional support. But for most people watching this, the situation isn't at that extreme. It's more like you're running on autopilot, making choices without realizing you're making choices. Every small decision adds up. Hitting snooze, scrolling your phone first thing in the morning, saying yes to distractions when you know you should be working. Your brain gravitates toward what's familiar because familiar feels safe. The problem is that familiar can become a cage you don't even notice you're living in. So, what actually moves the needle? The first thing is awareness, radical, honest awareness. You have to stop operating on automatic and start catching yourself in the moments where the choices are being made. Notice when you're catastrophizing a small setback into a life-defining failure. Notice when you're reaching for distraction instead of sitting with discomfort. Notice when you're speaking to yourself in a way you would never speak to someone you care about. Awareness doesn't fix everything, but nothing gets fixed without it. The second thing is stopping the habit of waiting for motivation. Motivation is emotional weather. Sometimes it shows up sunny and sometimes it doesn't show up at all. You can't build a consistent life on something that inconsistent. What you need instead is identity. Start asking yourself not what do I feel like doing today, but what kind of person am I becoming through my choices right now? When you shift from chasing motivation to building identity, the behavior starts to stabilize. The third thing is narrowing your focus. Overwhelm doesn't come from having too much to do. It comes from trying to think about all of it at the same time. Break it down. What is the actual next step? Not the whole plan, not the whole journey, just the next concrete action. You're not writing a book, you're writing today's paragraph. You're not building a business, you're making today's one important call. Specificity is the antidote to overwhelm. And finally, here's something most people overlook entirely. Progress itself is the cure. When you feel stuck, the instinct is to wait until you feel ready to make a big move. But the science of momentum actually works in the opposite direction. Small progress creates the energy for larger progress. You don't wait to feel unstuck before you move. You move, and the movement unsticks you. Even tiny actions taken consistently over time rewire how you see yourself and what you believe is possible. Here's the bottom line. Feeling stuck is not your permanent state. It's information. It's telling you that something in your habits, your self-talk, or your approach needs to shift. You are not too far gone. You are not uniquely broken. You are simply in a moment that is asking you to make a different choice than the one you've been making. And the beautiful part is that moment is right now. Thanks for watching. If this helped even a bit, please give it a thumbs up. One simple like tells the algorithm to show the video to 10 more people who might need to hear it today. And don't forget to subscribe because our next episodes will take you into a wonderful world of neuroscience and teach you powerful tricks to help you negotiate with yourself, face your own shadows, and befriend your mind. Until next time, stay calm, stay curious, and stay connected to your inner peace.